know that they also build the wind and solar farms that supply clean energy to our homes and businesses? They install the broadband infrastructure that helps provide high-speed internet to every corner of Wisconsin. Build your career with the Wisconsin Operating Engineers. Visit join139.com to learn more. That's join139.com.
Carbless, a proud partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Premium, ready-to-drink cocktails made right here in Wisconsin. 0 carbs, 0 sugar, 0 gluten, 0 guilt. And just 100 calories a can. Carbless has flavors for every fan. Fruit flavors like pineapple, lemon lime, black cherry, and more. And classic cocktail options like margarita, Paloma, and Moscow Mule. Find Carbless at your local grocery store and pick up a pack to enjoy while you watch Brewers baseball at home or while you tailgate before a game. Carbless. Less is more.
Get up! Get out of here and go!
Covering the Crew all season long on WTMJ. It's Brewers Extra Innings. Now live from American Family Field, here's your host, Dominic Cotroneo.
All right, a lot more fun tonight. Brewers win 4-3. High-quality baseball game here at American Family Field. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Craig Kashan is going to join us in just a little bit. The Sal Frelick game, the bullpen game, the swing and miss game. There's a couple titles we can go with this one. 855-616-1620, 855-616-1620. Talking about the swing and miss, I just tweeted this. The Brewers tonight, by my count, and Swing and Miss usually takes a day to update on some of the sites that, like Baseball Savant and Inside Edge and that sort of thing, where they go in and just double-check all of the swings and misses. But by my count, and I've cross-checked this already, the Brewers' pitching staff induced 37 swings and misses against the Pirates. 37 whiffs. That is the most in a 9-inning game in all of baseball this year. And it ties the most for the Brewers in the pitch tracking era, which goes back to 2008. Joe Ross was awesome. Now, there were some deep counts, and if we want to pick at some nits here, we can talk about that. But Joe Ross was awesome. He needed that rebound. He needed that sort of command with the fastball-slider combo. Even a few really good changeups in there. I thought today was a big step forward for that pitch. Furthermore, the bullpen, aside from the home run that Trevor McGill allowed, they were perfect. Seriously, that was it. Brian Hudson, 2 perfect innings. Elvis Peguero, man, he needed that. Perfect 8th inning. Got some help from Sal in center, of course, on the second of 2 great diving catches. And McGill, yes, allowed the homer to Joe, but, 9-pitch, tip your cap on a fastball up and in at 97. I tip my cap to that, man. That was a heck of an at-bat by Connor Joe, who a guy has been really, really hot as of the last 2-3 weeks or so. And he's going to be, if you ask me, sorry, Rowdy, he's probably going to be the everyday first baseman moving forward for the Pirates because his offense is there, and it's a really, really, really hot, streaky bat right now for the Pirates. But that's not what this show is about. This show is about the Brew Crew. Joe Ross earns the victory. The loss goes to Quinn Priester. 5th save for McGill. The Brewers only 3 for 13 with runners in scoring position, which on the surface doesn't sound great, 231 batting average. But the home runs, and when you look at that second inning and you thought, all right, they're going to keep on going, Priester made an adjustment. And the sinker really started to get going. The ground ball out started to pop up. 9 ground ball outs for Priester out of 11 balls that were in play. So 2 fly outs and 9 ground ball outs. The sinker got going after the second inning. But the Brewers pitching staff held all 3 runs for the Pirates being scored via home run. They went 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position tonight. Couple of texts here once again, 855-616-1620, 855-616-1620. I think we're all going to need Sal Frelick's StatCast breakdown on the YouTube channel after that game, that one from David in Superior. Well, David, I already dove into the numbers on it, and it's not as impressive as you would think it is. And this is where StatCast doesn't always meet the eye test. In my eyes, the eye test says that was one heck of a play. StatCast disagrees. But if you ask any center fielder, again, I've said it over and over, the hardest ball to read is the one straight at you, either straight in front of you or straight behind you. And Sal made 2 great plays on balls in front and behind him. The thought of that is you have a hard time reading spin when you're in center field. Whereas when you're in the corners, if you're a right-handed hitter is up, and you're playing right field, you can read the swing and you can read how the ball is flying in the air to say that ball is slicing toward the line. That's how it's generally going to work. Whereas in center field, the ball is generally barreled, and it could even be knuckling on its way over to you. And thus, StatCast sees Sal's catch in the 8th inning as he got a bad jump. He should have caught that ball a lot easier. But you ask any center fielder, that's not an easy play in the slightest. So the catch probability doesn't take some of those qualitative stuff that certainly is hard to quantify. But ask any center fielder, like, yeah, you got to read it as quick as you can. Sal had a late break, but still his speed was able to make a tremendous catch. So that's your little StatCast taste there, David. Appreciate the text. This one from Josh in Milwaukee. Nothing like a complete game to get back into the win column. Frelick made 2 impact plays on both sides of the ball, and he wasn't the only defensive gem. I'm looking forward to Gasser's second start tomorrow. This one from Doug. Super Sal looked like Superman flying through the air. Let's quit scoring in just 1 inning. It's way too close for comfort. I agree entirely there, Doug. They needed to add on. There were a couple opportunities they could have added on and made this a little easier. Maybe would have even enabled Joe Ross to go back out for his 6th inning with 91 pitches under his belt. But the fact that it was still a 2-run game and the meat of the order was coming up for a 3rd time through, I'm all in on that poll, given the Brewers haven't really let him go past 90, and plus it was going to be close, and you blink and it could be a completely different game. So I really did not mind that poll in the slightest. We'll break this game down a little bit deeper with Craig Kashan here in just a moment. I've got the player of the game poll up as well on my Twitter at Dom_Cotroneo, DOM_COTRONEO. Can't even spell my own last name. I'm so excited. Sal Frelick, of course, is running away with it, as you would expect, but would love to hear your voices about your player of the game. I've got Joe Ross, Sal Frelick, and the bullpen overall of what they did tonight. Once again, I want to remind you that Brewers Extra Innings is brought to you by Fifth Third Bank. With a local Milwaukee team, Fifth Third Bank also knows how to hit it out of the park. They've been serving businesses in the area for nearly 15 years, offering industry-specific expertise and local decision-making capabilities. It's all going to help your business succeed. This is commercial banking value only Fifth Third can deliver. Fifth Third Bank, National Association, member FDIC. Take a breather. Come back with more after this. Brewers Extra Innings on 620 WTMJ.
Coming up, more Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Trust in your family's comfort at home with Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. They're the oldest family-owned HVAC company in southeast Wisconsin. 4 generations of Ciders, and their highly trained technicians provide a one-stop shop for all home and business comfort needs, including an emergency service line that's always live and a 12-year parts and labor warranty on all Daikin products. Get peace of mind by scheduling maintenance today with Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. That's SEIDER, Cider.com.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GIFT for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's promo code GIFT.
We did the math. When you buy bagged mulch from the big guys, you pay $50 a yard. Why pay more for inferior mulch? When you buy from Erickson's, you'll get premium mulch for almost half the cost. And you'll see that even our economy mulch is better, for less than half the cost of bag mulch. And either choice is made with premium colorant that lasts longer. Erickson's Landscape Supply, high-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. Do you want the economy mulch or the premium? The only real difference is that the premium mulch has thicker strands, while the economy mulch is finer. But the colorant we use for both is of the highest quality, and that's why the color of our mulch lasts longer. And our mulch comes from trees, not pallets, and we process it all in-house. That's why our prices are so low. Erickson's Landscape Supply, high-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
I'm Dominic Cotroneo. Brewers win 4-3. This series is level 1 game apiece, and tomorrow will be Robert Gasser's second big league start as the Brewers look for a double series victory homestand. They went 3-1 against the Cardinals, trying to go 2-1 against the Pirates. Now we welcome in Craig Kashan. Craig, I want to start with the pitching tonight before we get into Sal, because I think with what Joe Ross did tonight and what the bullpen did tonight should not be lost. Only 3 runs allowed against the Pirates, who hung 8 on the board yesterday. They held Brian Reynolds in check. But for me, Joe Ross is a major story because he righted the ship tonight. It wasn't perfect. There are still things to work on for Joe. But to see the swing and miss come back with a vengeance tonight, I thought was really important for him moving forward.
Yeah, considering the amount of pitches that he threw in kind of a short window of time, I thought, it doesn't reflect what you see, when you look at the box score, that's for sure. And that means that, he was still in control and on his stuff at the right times. But to do what he did, I think, a lot of us have been, kind of wondering, where is he going to fit in? How is he going to fit in? That type of thing. How effective is he going to be when it's his turn out there? Team's not winning a lot of games when he's been out there, but he's done a really good job, and he's still. I mean, he's the type of guy too. You talk about all these young pitchers the Brewers are using, and he's the veteran guy that's been out for a while. That's still trying to, kind of reestablish his legs on the mound and reestablish his arm and his endurance and everything. So it was really, really important for what he put out there in those 5 innings here today, and really, really meaningful to this club, and hopefully a boost of what we're going to see next time out from Joe Ross.
I mean, of his 21 swings and misses tonight, which, by the way, was one shy of his own career high, which was set back in 2021, of those 21 swings and misses, 12 of them were on his secondary pitches, his slider, his changeup, and his curveball. Furthermore, opponents went a combined 0 for 8 against those secondary pitches. He obviously has a great fastball. It carries, it sits 95, it can touch 97 like we saw tonight. But when the other stuff is quote-unquote on like we saw tonight, that's the bona fide guy that the Brewers know is deep down in there. And when he starts going 6-7 innings, he's the kind of guy that can kind of look to the bullpen and say, hey, take it easy tonight, guys. I got this one.
Yeah, those secondary pitchers are huge for him. We talked about it on our pregame show, just kind of setting up what he's been building up with that changeup and how important it's been to him here on the young season, and especially lately too. For what Joe is, progressing and accomplishing here right now, if he can just become a little more efficient, you're right. He's definitely going to go deeper in games and really become, I just think he has the potential of really become kind of an establishing point for the starting rotation here right now, which, it still remains in flux a little bit. So, hopefully this thing will keep rolling for him.
I think with the bullpen, too, let's jump into Brian Hudson, because we need to start freaking out about this guy and what he continues to do for the Brewers. For one, he went multiple innings, stabilized it. Number 2, he got both lefties and righties out. Number 3, nothing was hit terribly hard against him. Number 4, he gets swing and miss. And oh, by the way, he's left-handed. This dude is a unicorn, and it doesn't help that it also helps that he's 6'8". But we're expecting him now to go, 2 innings, no runs, no big deal. Yeah, not a problem at all. That's not normal what he's doing right now. The fact that he's only allowed 2 runs of his own this year. This dude, just because he's not the closer, doesn't mean he's not the best reliever on the team. Brian Hudson right now is the best reliever on the Brewers.
Well, I tell you, it'd be hard to argue right now, but thankfully, I will say this: there's pretty good competition right now for who the best guy is, and it's not everybody. Everyone's doing a really good job, but Hudson definitely is standing out and making a name for himself. That's for sure, which is really important. I mean, let's face it. It's Ross goes 5. Game is still on the line. We saw how yesterday's game, became a game of its own in the last 3 innings between these two teams. So what he was able to do for his, 2 innings, doing nothing but putting 3 strikes on the board, 3 strikeouts on the board. And, he has been quite a storyline. There's no question about that. What the Brewers have done with developing some of these guys to become these multi-inning major threats and major shutdown pitchers that they can use pretty much at any point of the game, and just allow the offense either to catch up or as a Band-Aid, to get to that next level of the game.
Yeah, I'm looking at what Elvis Peguero did tonight, too, and his heavy use of the slider. You talk to some pitchers, and throwing that many breaking balls can kind of help their fastball command, and he threw more sliders than fastballs tonight, and he threw a lot of them for strikes. It helped to get swing and miss, of course, too, but for Elvis to get back on track as well is quietly something very important. I mean, I asked about Yoel Payamps today to Pat Murphy, like, how do you keep your leverage guys from rusting, given Yoel's barely been able to pitch between the bereavement leave and the lack of leverage games? Now, tonight we obviously had a leverage game. He went to Elvis, gave Yoel a day, and now he's got Yoel available for tomorrow. But if Peguero righted the ship, I'm excited to see what Yoel can do if he's in a leverage situation tomorrow.
Yeah, Peguero definitely looked good. He looked like the pitcher that we saw earlier this year, and of course last year as well. All these guys have have their period of time where they can kind of slip out a little bit, but he's done a good job of coming back. Tonight, really solid 8th inning. I mean, he's your setup guy, and then of course McGill did a good job in the 9th inning, despite the home run. These guys who are coming in and closing, it can't be perfect. I think we all expect that based on just the recent history of closers. But boy, I tell you what, just the recent history of what the bullpen has done for Milwaukee. I mean, they're building quite a track record, that's for sure, and this season is included in that with the guys that we're talking about.
I mean, I see what the bullpen did again. Only one run allowed. It was the solo homer by Connor Joe. Trevor McGill got his 5th save tonight. And, oh, by the way, Devin Williams should be available in the second half for the Brewers. So it's going to get better, and you've got reinforcements coming too. J.B. Bukowskis, maybe Jacob Junis will be assigned to the bullpen in like a hybrid role. Then maybe you've got Taylor Clark going to be involved in this team too. In theory, it should keep getting better if the reinforcements arrive. So some guys have been some serious contributors so far this season. We're up against break, going to take it. Now we got to talk about Sal Frelick coming up on the other side. Sal and the offense, yes, 4 runs is good. Would like to have seen more than that, but Sal had a big day. We'll talk about that coming up next here on 620 WTMJ.
On deck, more Brewers Extra Innings.
Grab tickets to any Brewers game now. Next up, it's a can't-miss homestand against the Cubs and the White Sox the week of May 27th through June 2nd. Open up a new chapter of the I-94 rivalry May 27th through the 30th as the Brewers take on the Cubs. Then join Happy Days theme night for a Bronze Fonz bobblehead at the game on Friday, May 31st. Get in on a big week of Brewers action now at brewers.com/tickets.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Time for another new coat of paint on your house? Get Rhino Shield ceramic coating. You won't have to paint again for 25 years guaranteed. Now until June 21st, get 15% off with 12-month same-as-cash financing. Visit rhinoshieldwis.com.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Sleep apnea is a serious condition. And the worst part about it is, because it affects you while you're sleeping, you don't know what this condition is doing to you.
And it was scary because I found out that I was waking up 145 times an hour. 145 times. I was scared. I wasn't getting the sleep I needed.
And that's the thing. Someone like John wakes up after thinking he's slept all night, and he's been feeling run down for years, and finally finds out something really is wrong. This is why, for us, solving sleep apnea problems is so gratifying, because we really are changing lives.
I've had more energy. I'm getting better sleep. I've been told from my wife I don't snore, but honestly, it changed my life.
This is Dr. Madan Kandula. Solving your breathing triangle problems means a better quality of life, and you deserve that.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Welcome back. I'm Dom Catronio. Craig Deshawn is with us as well. Brewers Extra Innings is brought to you in part by Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. Of course, springtime in Wisconsin means it's time for your annual AC tune-up. Granted, you probably didn't need it on today. Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical, though, has you covered. You can save $25 on AC preventative maintenance. That currently is going to run through the end of the month. You can schedule your appointment today at Cider, SEIDER.com. Craig and I are in layers right now, but we're going to talk about Sal Frelick, who is starting to heat up a little bit. Good to see some quality contact from him, and obviously the monkey off his back of getting his first homer of the season. Sal's not a guy that needs to hit home runs, and quite frankly, I don't want him to hit for home runs. The home runs, in my opinion, for him and guys like Bryce Terang are like happy accidents. But, hey, it's cool to see a 1 instead of a 0 next to the HR column, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's good to see him driving the ball, too. I know that he's a guy that, has struggled out of the gates. You like to see, a little more gap to gap or corner to corners for Frelick. But getting that first home run, I mean, it does take the monkey off your back. There's no question about that. He's not going to go out there swinging for the fences necessarily tomorrow right away. But you know what? When he gets back in there tomorrow, he's going to feel, a little bit lighter. That bat's not going to be so heavy. He had a great game today, and he's got to really be even more proud of what he did defensively for this club. I mean, he had a great catch to end the second inning, and then that kind of set the stage, hopefully for him, with that home run in the bottom half of the second, and then just a spectacular catch in that eighth inning to end the eighth inning on a big hit drive from Andrew McCutcheon out there in center field on the warning track. It doesn't get any better than that, a diving catch basically over your head. I mean, just spectacular. And for whatever reason with Sal, I think that we all have a lot of trust in him that he's going to get to any ball in the outfield and make a play and make a hockey play if he needs to. We've seen that too. So he is entertaining, very entertaining game to watch on his part.
All 9 players in the lineup today reached base. 8 of 9 had a hit. Ironically, the hottest guy did not get a hit, and that was Jake Bowers. He did draw a walk today, though, too. A text coming in here. Hey, what about Bryce Terang? He's been huge with us so far. His batting average is still sitting at a cool 300. A pair of 2-strike hits today. He tried to steal a bag and got a couple of foul balls. He didn't get a chance to steal second base, but him hitting in front of Contreras, man, it doesn't matter if it's 0-2 or 3-2 or 3-1. Those guys are always ready to get bat onto ball. Both of them got hits tonight. Yelly got a double tonight as well and a couple of hits too. But that Terang and Contreras can set the table for guys like Yelich and Adames and, when healthy, Hoskins. It just makes you realize, I mean, Murph kind of walks the walk a little bit, and as he should, because he called this. He called his shot, and he believed in Terang, and we're all the ones in the media saying, like, really? And then now we're the ones eating crow because Terang's been phenomenal. Another pair of hits tonight.
Yeah, and I hope that he can keep, something close to this pace. As you mentioned, he's hitting 300 after his 2 hits here tonight. I mean, that's well above what anybody probably expected, to be sure. However, I mean, this guy looks like he belongs right where he is right now at the top of the order. And, he's spraying the ball. His speed is just unbelievable. The jumps he gets on the bases is really something. He's going to score some more runs by doing that. And today he drove in a run as well, an opposite field RBI single in the second inning. But, overall, it was really good to see the bottom portion of the order in that second inning just, get base hit after base hit, extra base hit, home run, everything happening well in that inning. And that allowed the top of the order in Terang and Yelich to kind of finish the deal in that second inning and cap off the final 2 runs by driving them in. So, we haven't seen an inning like that in a while, which was really good here tonight, where everyone seems to, have a hand in it.
And the one flaw, the one knock on tonight is that was the only inning. There was no else. There was no other bump aside from that inning. Of course, Sal hit the 2-run homer to start the frame, and it really opened the floodgates just for that inning. Would have liked to see them add on a few more runs to make it a little bit easier down the stretch in this one. But as we're talking about the offense here, and before we let you go, Craig, Rhys Hoskins' news is a bummer, and it's a flat-out bummer. In case you missed it, he is placed on the injured list, 10-day injured list. It's probably going to be longer than that, with a strained right hamstring. It happened in last night's game. Doesn't sound like it's overly severe. There's kind of conflicting reports, even from within the Brewers. The point is, it's a hamstring. He's a big dude. He generates a lot of power from his lower half. Get it right the first time. Hamstrings linger. I don't want this one to linger with Rhys Hoskins.
No, we're right in the middle of May. So let's just say, if you could play doctor, and this is nothing coming out of the Brewers clubhouse, but I think realistically you just have to say, let's give this a month, because you don't need to rush him back at this point. You do have some depth, but you do need him in the lineup. But here's the thing, Dom. If Rhys Hoskins isn't 100%, then he's not going to be Rhys Hoskins. He's not going to be the guy you signed. He's not going to be the guy that's, able to do what we've seen up until now. And then some. I think he was just getting, cranked up. There was more in the tank when it came to production for Rhys that we haven't seen just yet, but I think he was starting to warm up pretty good. So that's what makes this injury unfortunate, coupled with the fact that Yelich had been out for a month already, and they only got to play together for a few games before, now Hoskins exit with that injury. So keep your depth. Keep guys rotating through. You brought up the point that Murph make sure that he keeps guys fresh. Nobody sits for too long on the bench. We're going to see that from a DH role or whoever man's first base. They have some options, and just get Hoskins healthy to 100% before he goes back out there.
I'm looking at it now. Hoskins, Yelich, Adames, Contreras, all of those guys, they have only been in the same lineup altogether for a total of 14 games. And tonight is game 42.
Yeah.
The main core, Contreras, Yelich, Hoskins, Adames, the four middle part of the order, they have been in the same lineup for just 14 of 42 games, and this team's in first place. They've handled it so far. They're going to have to keep handling without Rhys. And, man, this could be a real team to just remember, hey, if you let them hang around the end of the first half, they're going to make you pay in the second half when, in theory, they're totally healthy when guys like Garrett Mitchell are back, Devin Williams are back, Jacob Junis is back. This team, I'm liking what I'm seeing right now, Craig. I'm starting to believe again.
Well, hey, man, look where they are. They're still in first place. I know some people, don't look at that and don't care, but my thing is this: they've been at the top of their division pretty much since opening day, and we're starting to see where other teams are falling, not only in place in the Central Division, but elsewhere around baseball. We're starting to see who the better teams are right now. That the start of the season, the fluke stuff, all that's over with now, and this team has been near or at the top the entire time. So kudos to the depth and the belief and the commitment that these guys have right now, and tonight was a great example of that.
All right, Craig Kashan joining us here on WTMJ. You get to enjoy a few days off from our program. Thanks as always, Craig, and sleep fast. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning.
Oh, you got it, Tom.
All right, Craig Kashan on WTMJ. A couple other texts I want to address. That's coming up next. Pat Murphy a little bit later as well on 620 WTMJ.
Coming up, more Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ. Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guests, Capital Heating and Cooling and CertaPro Painters. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact NX Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at nxwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
Rose Gray from Fox World Travel here to bring you exciting news. In partnership with Globus, Insight Vacations, and Avalon Waterways, our 2025 Fox Group Vacations collection is now available. Whether you want to explore Europe, Hawaii, Asia, or beyond, By land or river, our award-winning Fox Group Vacation experts have handcrafted exclusive experiences for people seeking to explore the world. Visit foxworldtravel.com or call 866-GO-FOX-GO. Join us and make memories to last a lifetime.
Not wearing your seatbelt could cost you a ticket or your life. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
We find the best way to protect and uphold the reputation of our business is to hire good people and then take care of them. We really do love the people that work for us, and we care about what's in their best interest. And what that means to you is this. Who do you really want on your job? Someone who's maybe underpaid or doesn't feel appreciated? Might not have paid vacations or great work benefits? Our folks have all of these things and more. Vito and I make sure they feel appreciated because happy people do happy work. There's a culture we're building here at Semper Fi that brings respect back to a very hard job. And that's why we know that our crews are going to do the kind of work that you expect. This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Welcome back. I'm Dominic Cotroneo. Brewers win 4-3. A couple of questions that have rolled in here. Austin from Poinette, how long until Abner Uribe is back in the majors? It's a good question. A while. Remember, when he comes back, he is going to have to serve his 6-game suspension from the fight against the Rays. So you want to do that at a time where you can absorb having one less guy in your bullpen. So, naturally my mind wanders to All-Star break time just because, maybe you serve the suspension for the first 3 games or last 3 games of the first half, enjoy the All-Star break, get all the arms refreshed, and then the last 3 games coming out of the All-Star break, and then he served. Because the caveat of being a suspended player on your active roster, you don't get to replace him. You got to carry 25. It's like soccer, with a red card and you've been sent off, you're playing with 10 men. So you are playing with a man down, so they have to time it with that sort of thing. He's made a handful of appearances so far in AAA this year, 4 innings, 2 walks, 2 hit batters. Don't love that. 5 strikeouts, overpowering guys. But I think Brewers brass in the front office want to see him do this for an extended period of time in Nashville, prove that he's got the headspace ready to go with, adversity comes his way, or maybe a call doesn't go his way, that he's able to lock it back in and get things going in the right direction. Another text here asking about the Hoskins injury. It's a bummer, but Bowers seems to have found his stroke. We talked about it yesterday, the fact that Bowers had been hitting nearly 500 since he switched to a toe tap last Tuesday against the Royals, and he's been a different hitter. He whiffed a couple of times tonight, but one of those whiffs was like a 3-0 green like daddy hack, where it's just like you swing as hard as you can and hope you hit it. I'm excited because he's going to kind of have to play every day, and I wonder what the Brewers are going to do tomorrow, given there's a lot at hand tomorrow. They don't have a traditional backup first baseman, backup catcher, obviously. So you think about it, generally speaking, the day game finale of a series is the day you would give your primary catcher the day off. Now, the Brewers' primary catcher, William Contreras, refuses to come out of the lineup, so I imagine he would be the designated hitter tomorrow if they want to at least get him off his quote-unquote feet while catching. So then that would mean Gary would be behind the plate, which is why it's so important that Owen Miller was called up today in the corresponding move for Rhys Hoskins. So there's a right-handed first baseman, because I don't know if Jake Bauers is going to get a start against a left-handed starter tomorrow and Martin Perez. So there's a little bit of a puzzle right there when you're facing a lefty. And furthermore, William hasn't missed a day this year, and I don't know when he's going to get a day off, but I thought it would have been maybe tomorrow if the Brewers had already won this series, but they haven't, so I imagine he's going to be the DH tomorrow. Gary will be behind the plate for Robert Gasser, and then you'll see Owen Miller, I would imagine, at first base. So how does Robert react to a new catcher catching him, who we barely got to know at the end of spring training? Now, that's not like it's oh my gosh, how could the Brewers do this? No, it's just like hey, it's something to monitor. Gasser throws a lot of breaking balls. let's see how Gary does receiving him tomorrow. And this is me assuming that it's going to be Gary tomorrow. Another question here about the outfield. What's going to happen when Mitchell is back with Sal and Blake? With Sal showing today that he can play center field, and Garrett a primary center fielder, I think Blake Perkins would be the odd man out in that situation. However, one of the things that they could do as well is keep Blake as the fourth outfielder because he's a switch hitter, and then the odd man out could be Churio, could be Sal, but I don't think it would be either one of those guys. I still think it would be Blake Perkins, given he is the depth, and then the Brewers have to decide, okay, is Churio going to be better suited playing every 2-3 days and making sure he keeps confidence up, and does Mitchell get days off against lefties? Does both Sal and Mitchell get days off against lefties? So these are all things that are on the way. Sal's supposed to get the cast off coming up next, I think, 10 days or so, and then he can resume full baseball activities. He'll need a rehab assignment, and he's not even eligible to come off the injured list until technically the end of the month. I'm just double-checking my game notes here to make sure I get this date right. So I will double-check those notes. We will take a breather and hear from the manager, Pat Murphy, as the Brewers win by a final of 4-3 tonight. We'll hear from Murph coming up after the break on 620 WTMJ.
On deck, more Brewers Extra Innings.
Is your business looking for localized banking solutions and a strategic partner? Fifth Third Bank has been looking forward to the future and helping businesses shape what's next for 165 years, and for the last 15 here in Milwaukee. They offer industry-specific expertise, local decision-making capabilities, and extensive experience to help navigate the complexities of a constantly changing business market environment. With your business in mind, commercial banking value only Fifth Third can deliver. Fifth Third Bank, National Association. Custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC.
Only 11% of those trying to sell their own homes actually succeed. And of those that do sell their own home, they sell on average for 26% less than agented properties. This often negates the savings they were hoping to get by doing it on their own. So why do it on your own when you have an experienced realtor that will give you full service at only 3.5 to 3.9% commission? Don't let your home sit while others are selling faster and at potentially better than asking prices. Call Benefit Realty for a highly experienced agent, and you'll pay less for full service. In this seller's market, even homeowners are trying to sell their own home. But more times than not, it doesn't work out like they'd hoped. And while homes like theirs are selling, and selling fast for over asking prices, their homes aren't. So what's your next best strategy? Well, if you're looking to relieve yourself of the stress of selling your own home and still get top dollar while getting the full service benefits that an experienced realtor can give you, then look no further. I'm Angela Calais with Benefit Realty, where 3.5 to 3.9% commission assures that you pay less for full service.
Do you have the greatest possible fire protection?
Fire sprinklers protect lives and property in your building.
Are you ensuring that your fire sprinkler system is receiving the proper care that it requires?
Just like the other systems within your building, it is essential that the fire sprinkler system be inspected, tested, and maintained.
Protect your investment and, most importantly, occupants and firefighters by incorporating a regular ITM program in your building.
For more information, visit nfsa.org.
That's nfsa.org.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Welcome back. A few more segments here on the program. We got Pat Murphy in this segment, highlights in the next one, and then a preview of tomorrow. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Also, thanks again to Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. Don't forget about that preventative AC tune-up. You can save $25 on your checkup right now at Cider, SEIDER.com. Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical offering AC tune-ups. $25 off. Come check it out. It's about to get warm, I promise. It's about to get warm, even though it didn't feel like it today. To wrap up the previous segment, Garrett Mitchell is eligible to come off the injured list on May 24th. Now, that's obviously in 10 days, and he's still wearing the cast. He is obviously not going to be activated in the next 10 days, or on that 10th day. And thing to keep in mind, the Brewers roster, at least 40-man roster, that is full. They're at a full 40 right now. And when you're on the 60-day IL, you are obviously temporarily off the roster for that time. When it comes to what do the Brewers do with their 40-man, then you're looking at some of the guys that maybe, haven't really seen much of this year. Vinny Capra, Chris Roller. You've got Kevin Herget still on the 40-man who's down in AAA right now. So those are options, or not options, I should say, but things to figure out as some of these key players are going to return. Like Jacob Junis is on the 60-day IL with his shoulder impingement. He's been ramping up his throwing program as of late. Junis is eligible to come off on June 2nd. J.B. Bukowskis is on the 60-day. He's eligible to come off in June as well, but he's going to just start playing catch next week. They've been taking it very, very slow with him. That's just your little injury corner update. Pat Murphy was certainly in a good mood today after a fun 4-3 victory. Here's what he had to say to the media this evening.
We just mentioned that. It makes me smile because that's the kid that the Brewers drafted whatever years ago in the first round. That's the kid. I mean, he's got the it factor, and we've thrown a lot at him since he's been here. And but he's got that. Really, really happy for him.
He's been kind of going through it a little bit this season. How do you think he's responded to that, and has he been able to keep his...
He's young. Remember how young he is, and then think about trying to play in the big leagues, and it's not just he's not just physically gifted, and there's a lot, we've thrown a lot at him, and we trust him, and, it's only 40-some games in. Last year, I don't know how many games he played, but he had all sorts of physical ailments going on, and we kind of took him out of necessity, and he played in some big games, so it was good, but it wasn't, he wasn't healthy 100%. And now we wore him out a little bit in spring training, and now he's kind of settling in. So I'm happy for him.
You only get to see limited bits of him. You were in the clubhouse before and after games, but he doesn't seem like the kind of guy who gets flustered or hangs his head or needs to be picked up. He seems like a pretty confident guy.
He's a really good competitor, and he's not going to back off. He's going to keep coming at you. He's never going to tell you he can't play. He's never going to tell you when he's hurt. He's an old school mentality that way. Sometimes that works to his detriment. I think it hurt him last year because I don't think he was healthy and tried to mask it because he wanted to be here so bad. But, had a great ball game. That 0-2 to ball 4 and steal a base. It was great.
About a swing and miss for Joe tonight. What did you see from him stuff-wise?
Yeah, it runs around up there at the top, you know what I mean? And you got to remember Joe Ross was a very successful major league pitcher, whenever that was back in the day, and he's endured some stuff. So he's super motivated to get all that back, and it's trending in that direction. Last outing, he got a little tired early. We don't really know exactly what it was, but he got a little tired early, didn't feel himself, and then that was in Kansas City. And then we were kind of quite cautious today, and then he went out and probably could have kept going. If not for that bit of fatigue, the outing before, we might have let him go back out there for the 6th. But Hudson, again, we don't make too big of a deal of him, but he's been unbelievable, and Peguero today, that's as good as he's looked in a while. That was sharp.
Murph, with Brian, just for as many multi-inning appearances.
Who's Brian?
Rock Hudson.
Okay, Rock. Speak my language, so.
Rock, big left.
Big lefty.
6'8". The multi-inning appearances for him. What is that? How valuable is that?
Yep.
As you're mapping out the last couple innings of the games, and what that does for the rest of the group.
Yeah, it's tremendous. He fills a gap there. When we lost Devin early on, we realized, okay, this bullpen's got some nice pieces to it, but we got to piece this together somehow. And that's a big loss when you lose Devin. And Rock has been instrumental in us piecing it together, man. He gives us multiple innings. At times, he can give us one. We're working on his recovery right now so we can get him back sooner, but he's on track for a heavy workload.
Brian Hudson has been phenomenal. I mean, the heavy workload is one thing. I had pulled up the numbers here across baseball, how he compares to other relievers that have thrown at least 20 innings this season. It's ridiculous. I mean, he's right there. He's got a sub-1 ERA. Like, just listen to that sentence. A sub-1 ERA out of the bullpen, 24 and a third innings. He's allowed 2 earned runs this season. 2 earned runs in 24 and a third innings. Now, of all the other guys with a sub-1 ERA, he's got the most innings. Furthermore, he's one of the only non-closers on this list, too, that have thrown at least 20 innings and have a sub-1 ERA. The other guys, Reed Garrett, who's off to a fantastic start this year with the Mets. He's been ridiculous. You've also got Emmanuel Clase, no surprise there. You've also got Dylan Floro with the Marlins, who is going to be certainly, or Nationals now, not the Marlins anymore, who is certainly going to be eyed by a few teams coming up this trade deadline. But Floro has been fantastic. Then you've got Rock Hudson at 24 and a third innings with a .74 ERA. All right, enough about me. Let's hear about the highlights. That's coming up next on 620 WTMJ.
On deck, more Brewers Extra Innings.
Trust in your family's comfort at home with Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. They're the oldest family-owned HVAC company in southeast Wisconsin. 4 generations of Ciders, and their highly trained technicians provide a one-stop shop for all home and business comfort needs, including an emergency service line that's always live and a 12-year parts and labor warranty on all Daikin products. Get peace of mind by scheduling maintenance today with Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. That's SEIDER, cider.com.
Don't pay retail for your diamond engagement ring or gift. Come to CleanOrigin.com. Founded by a leading family in the diamond industry for more than a century, we're experts in lab-grown diamonds because that's all we do. Clean Origin, the only diamond jewelers who give you a 100-day, no questions asked return on your purchase. Head to CleanOrigin.com or one of our retail stores and mention code Radio10 for 10% off your purchase. That's CleanOrigin.com, code Radio10.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha!
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide cleans better than the leading competitive free detergent, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues.
Plus, Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
A buck doesn't buy much unless you're spending it at Griffin. For just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand, $1 over our cost, free tire repair, and lifetime rotation. We'll even show you the invoice to prove it. Our only requirements is we put them on for you. Buy one or a whole set. The dollar deal from Griffin, Milwaukee, Waukesha, Fort Atkinson, and Jefferson. Griffin, the buck stops here, but the deals on tires don't. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers.
Church and Chapel Funeral Homes. Comfortable locations, comfortable people. Church and Chapel Funeral Homes. There's one near you.
Grab tickets to any Brewers game now. Next up, it's a can't-miss homestand against the Cubs and the White Sox the week of May 27th through June 2nd. Open up a new chapter of the I-94 rivalry May 27th through the 30th as the Brewers take on the Cubs. Then join Happy Days theme night for a Bronze Fonz bobblehead at the game on Friday, May 31st. Get in on a big week of Brewers action now at brewers.com/tickets.
Come visit, learn, and discover at the recently opened Food and Farm Exploration Center near Stevens Point in Plover, Wisconsin. The 50,000 square foot Science and Technology Center is a place to take the entire family. Experience over 60 interactive exhibits, a children's play area, demonstration farm fields, and home to the world's largest potato masher. The Food and Farm Exploration Center is a place for connecting with food and those who grow it. Just a short drive from Milwaukee. Plan your visit today at explorefoodandfarm.org.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ. Ready for this?
Get up!
This?
Get up!
And this?
Get out of here! Go!
Time for tonight's highlights. Here's Dominic Catronio.
All right, Brewers looking to level the series of this 3-game set with the Pirates. Joe Ross getting the ball against Quinn Priester. Ross came out guns blazing with a couple of strikeouts in the first inning and a couple of strikeouts in the second inning. And the Brewers got some help, gave some help to Joe Ross with their defense and the man that little do we know would have a huge night, Sal Frelick in the second.
2 pitch. This is lined into center. Frelick coming in, diving. Did he make the catch? He did! Wow, Sal Frelick. That is a tough play coming right at you on a line. He sold out for it, went into a dive, and caught that ball right before it hit the grass.
Lane Grindle's call here on WTMJ, and it's a risky one, but he made the play this time. Then in the bottom of the second, as it tends to happen, Sal was due up. After a 1-out double from Joey Ortiz, Frelick finally going yard. Guess the highlight didn't fire. We'll get it right. But he went yard, first run of the year, as the Brewers took a 2-0 lead. That would really spark a rally for the Crew. Oliver Dunn would pull a single through the right side. Then Jackson Churio would single up the middle. That put runners on the corners for Bryce Terang. Looks like none of our highlights are firing right now, but we're going to keep trying to roll through it here. As in that second inning, after Bryce Terang hits an RBI single to make it 3-0 at the time, Brewers, Contreras popped out, so you're thinking, oh no, is the inning going to end here? Christian Yelich will be next up at the plate. Yelly would get the job done.
Yelich, a line drive back up the middle and into center field for a base hit. Churio will score. Terang, first to third. And the Brewers still have him on the corners. It's 4-0 Milwaukee.
So 4 runs in the frame on 6 hits. And little did we know, that would be all that they would score for the rest of the game. The Brewers, though, had Joe Ross on the mound, and he was fantastic, getting ahead of hitters. He had to throw a lot of pitches, though, a few too many full counts if you ask him. But at the end of the day, the only blemish against him was a 2-run homer by Nick Gonzalez. 5 strong frames, 6 strikeouts, and 21 whiffs. That was a new season high for him. However, it was still a tight ball game. 4-2. Needed every single great play from the defense. The bullpen was in charge now. In the 6th inning, Brian Hudson got a pair of strikeouts to Brian Reynolds and O'Neal Cruz. Then it was Connor Joe at the plate.
2-2 pitch. Chopper, left side of the infield. It's Terang who fields it, throws across his body to first in time. Wow! That ball was behind the mound and to the left of the second base bag, and Terang came all the way across, fielded it, and threw across his body and gets Connor Joe for the last out in the inning.
Great call once again by Lane. In the 7th inning, Hudson returned for another 1-2-3 inning. In the 8th, it was Elvis Peguero trying to get back on the saddle. He's had a rough few games. And here he gets a strikeout swinging on a slider to Triolo, a strikeout swinging on a slider to Taylor. He got ahead of Andrew McCutchen 0-2. Of course, Kutch battled. And on the 8th pitch of the at-bat, the highlight of the night.
2-2 pitch. Line drive out to center. Back on it is Frelick. Still back onto the edge of the warning track. A diving catch by Super Sal. Wow! Elvis Peguero just pointing out to him. You won't see a better catch this year in center field. Full extension, sliding on the warning track, a standing ovation at American Family Field.
Woo-wee. It was one heck of a play for Sal Frelick, to say the least. Trevor McGill would allow a homer in the 9th, but that was all. He struck out a pair as well as the Brewers pitching staff combined for 37 whiffs against the Pirates tonight. That is matching a Brewers 9-inning game record in the pitch tracking era. So it was all about the swing and miss tonight as the Brewers racked up 13 strikeouts against the Buccos, and they'll try to win the series tomorrow with the hand of Robert Gasser. We'll preview that coming up next on 620 WTMJ.
Coming up, more Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
How do we keep our prices so low? That's easy. We've removed the middlemen. Yep, most landscape suppliers have a couple of them in there, and that's okay. But each one of those men in the middle means a higher cost for your mulch, decorative stone, flagstone, and boulders. Feel free to check around. For the quality of our products, you won't find better prices. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. You know, most mulch is reclaimed from landfills, but Erickson's mulch is ground from whole trees. Yep, we process the mulch ourselves to keep the prices nice and low, and use only premium colorant so the beautiful look of new mulch lasts. At Erickson's, we never skimp, and that's why first-time shoppers become repeat customers. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
All right, final segment here as we get ready to say goodbye. Tomorrow's a big day for the Brewers, not just for a series victory, but what it can do for the standings and specifically for the rest of the Central Division. Now, today, the Cubs lost to the Braves, but the Brewers obviously are still going to have to face the Braves, too, and the Dodgers, and the Brewers haven't faced the Dodgers yet either. But the Brewers are now up to the second, are a game and a half up on the Cubs. 25-17, 24-19. We don't actually care about the record given it is so early, but the fact that the rest of the division is under 500 is significant because, remember, the tiebreakers are how you do head-to-head is the first tiebreaker against the team that you're tied with. The second tiebreaker is how you did against everybody else in the division. And the fact that the Brewers have a chance tomorrow with a victory to be already 13-7, 6 games over 500 against everybody else in their division, having only lost one series this year, that to the Cubs, and then they're the next homestand for the Brewers, 4 games with the Cubs, 3 with the White Sox. You know, if you can manage to win that series, you're really going to be in the driver's seat. If you split it, you're A-okay with that too. So tomorrow can be an opportunity to really make sure to make this a 2-horse race for as long as possible. Now, the Cardinals have been showing signs of life. They are out west tonight taking on the Angels, and they're in a slugfest despite Sonny Gray starting on the mound. It's 7-5 at the time of recording here with the Cardinals in the lead. So we're not ready to call them dead yet, but they're pretty darn close. They need to get something going. Cincinnati needs to get something going ASAP. As Cincinnati's taking on the Diamondbacks, they have the lead 6-2 tonight. They lost on a walk-off last night. They have won just once in their last 10 games, and their only series in the Central is head-to-head with the Brewers, the series that they lost, that they need to make up a doubleheader later on in the season. So just getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, but just saying, hey, let's win another series against a Central opponent tomorrow. It'll be a southpaw battle. Martin Perez against Robert Gasser. Gasser was fantastic, throwing a majority breaking balls in his first start. That was against the Cardinals this past Friday night. Excited to see what he can do for the Act 2 of Gasser, who you would hope is going to stick around for a long while. Perez, in his first year in Pittsburgh, this will be his 9th start tomorrow. pitches to contact. We've seen plenty of Martin Perez in the American League. This is his first time venturing over to the senior circuit now. 1-2 record, 3.60 ERA, not many strikeouts. Opponents hitting .281 off of him. He is kind of strayed from his great form that he had with the Rangers in 2022. And now back with the Pirates here. And he's a southpaw. The Brewers have barely seen any lefties this season. Their record against lefties is just a minuscule. I think it's 6 games rather. 3-3 against lefties this year, so keep that in mind ahead of tomorrow's game. Early game, get your bagel, get your coffee, get ready to go. A 12:10 first pitch. Coverage will begin at 11:35 right here on 620 WTMJ. No post-game show tomorrow. We'll go straight into drive time programming. Thursday is an off day. I've got Brewers Weekly Thursday night, and then we are back after the Houston series games Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We've got post-game shows for you right here on WTMJ as well. So that's going to do it for this episode tonight. Thank you to everybody who hung out and listened in. My thanks to our producer, Max Meyerson, and my thanks to Craig Kashan for joining as well. I'm Dom Catronio. Brewers win 4-3. Until next time, keep on swinging.
Each day, there's a sliver of time when you can almost breathe freely. And you feel better when you can.